On live television, a man you have never met is reading out the 26 players going to the World Cup. Yours is somewhere in his mouth. Or it isn't. You're sitting on the floor of a rented flat with the volume up too loud, and you can't breathe, and you can't even hope properly, because hope feels like asking for too much. You've pictured this exact moment your whole life. In the back garden, narrating it to yourself in a kid's whisper. On the walk to school, in the dark, the seconds before sleep. And in every single version you were calm. You always knew your name was coming. None of those versions had this in them. The silence in your own chest, and the terror that your name might not be on his list. You are 30 years old. You are not the best player in your country, and everyone watching knows it. The two pundits in the television studio have already said your name once today. Not as a hope, as a question. Him? Why him? What has he ever actually done? You play for a club nobody on the outside can spell correctly. One good season behind you, and a lifetime of almost good enough behind that. And players don't get 4 World Cups to figure it out. You get one. Maybe. If a coach is brave enough, or desperate enough to say your name out loud, he's read the goalkeepers, then the defenders, now he's on to the midfielders, your position, and he's already said 4 names that aren't yours. And then he says it. He says your name. You don't celebrate. Your body has nowhere to put 20 years arriving all at once, so it comes out as a sound you've never made before. Your girlfriend is hugging you like never before. Your mother is screaming in the kitchen. You've never seen your father shed a tear, but now he does. You're on your knees on the carpet of a flat you never thought you could afford. And you are going to the World Cup. That feeling lasts about 90 seconds, because before you've even wiped your face, the same 2 pundits are already explaining to a nation why the coach got it wrong, why you don't belong on that plane. And here's the part you'll carry into every session for the next 5 weeks, the part that really cuts. A small voice inside you thinks they might be right. There's a reason the coach saw something in you that no one else did. Behind the house you grew up in, there was a wall with a square chalked on it, and a boy who hit that square with a ball until his feet bled through his socks. Nobody was watching. That's the entire point. While the gifted kids were being driven to academies, you were out practicing the one thing you decided would be yours. Your own technique. The same 5 steps. The same strike. 10,000 times. Storm, snow, a streetlight flickering on at 4 in the afternoon as it was already dark. You were never the most talented. You were the most stubborn. Talent is what the scouts write down and save in their notes. Stubbornness is what they never see until you force them to. One man saw it anyway. The national coach, the one whose name is on every back page for picking you, drove 3 hours on a wet Tuesday to a half-empty ground in a town no scout ever visits, and watched a player who could do one single thing better than anyone in the country. He didn't pick you to be safe. He picked you to be a weapon. And he said so to the press out loud. They laughed at him. So now the 2 of you are bound together, but the stakes aren't even. If this goes wrong, he loses his job, and when they write up why it all fell apart, your name goes at the top of the list. That story's already half written. But he'll get another job next season. That's the difference. You don't get another World Cup. There was only ever going to be one, and this is it. For the first 3 days, you keep waiting for someone to tell you there's been a mistake. You look around the dressing room. The man to your left has won the Champions League twice. The one across from you cost more than your entire club. These are the best players your country has ever produced. And then there's you. You keep asking the same question the whole country is asking. What are you doing here? The camp doesn't help. From the outside, it looks like a holiday. Palm trees. A pool. It isn't. It's a laboratory, and you're the experiment. You swallow a pill that reads your temperature from the inside while you run. A vest between your shoulder blades logs every sprint. Somewhere you'll never see, those numbers help decide who's trusted with 90 minutes and who isn't. You don't control any of it. You just train and hope. And the captain, the biggest name of all, has already made up his mind about you. One morning, at the coffee machine, Not knowing you're right behind him, he tells another senior player what he makes of your call-up. He isn't cruel, he's just honest. Says the coach has gambled a whole tournament on a hunch, on a nobody who'll fold the first time it gets heavy. Then he's gone, off to the rest of his morning. To him it was nothing at all. To you, it was something more. Underneath all of it, the doubt, the distance, the men who've decided you don't belong, you're still a part of the only thing you ever wanted. Somehow, homesickness can sit right next to the happiest you've ever been. And you learn the cruelest thing of all. Being picked got you into the squad. It didn't get you onto the pitch. You can travel all the way to a World Cup and watch the whole thing from the bench, close enough to smell the cut grass, and never once set foot on it. 5 weeks is a long time to be a monk. And in this squad, that's the rule. No partners, no intimacy, not until the tournament is over. When the coach lays it out, he doesn't apologise for it. He tells the room flatly that if a man can't go a month without it, he isn't ready to be here. So for weeks, you don't see the person you love. You call. You talk to her on a screen the size of your hand late at night after training. It's the strangest feeling in the world, living your dream and missing your whole life at the same time. Then comes family day, a few scheduled hours in the hotel, and there she is. The person who believed in you when you were a nobody, long before there was any reason to. The only one who told you you'd end up here one day. A few hours together, and then she's supposed to leave. You're not able to let go. That night, after curfew, you break the rule. It isn't dramatic. You just want one more hour with the one person who never doubted you. You're not thinking about the tournament or the cameras or the coach. You think no one saw. Someone always sees. By morning there's a photo and a headline. A man breaking a rule to be with the woman he loves has become proof of something else. Not a man in love. An amateur, undisciplined, a player who was never serious enough to be here in the first place. The pundits don't even have to stretch. The country that already doubted you finally has its reason, and it says it out loud from every angle they can. The coach doesn't shout. That's the part that stays with you. He sits down across from you at breakfast, the man who drove 3 hours to watch you play, who put his own name on the line to pick you, and for a moment he just looks at you. He doesn't tell you you've let him down. He doesn't need to. He says, quietly, "I expected more." Then he gets up and leaves, and his coffee goes cold on the table. You arrived as a question the whole country was asking, and you've just answered it for them, the wrong way, and you haven't even kicked a ball that matters yet. Then out of nowhere, the coach gives you a chance you don't deserve. It's the second group game, one your country has to win to be sure of going through, and with 20 minutes left, you're 2 goals up and cruising. Then a midfielder pulls up with a tight hamstring, and the natural replacement is already out, hurt in training 2 days before. The coach looks down a thin bench, and the safest option left in that position is the player nobody trusts. He turns to you, not for the one thing you can actually do, the thing he gambled his name to pick you for, but for your engine, to chase, close space, and run the clock down. Your first World Cup minutes. The grass is greener than any grass you've ever stood on. 10 minutes in, the ball comes to you in your own half. Nothing's on, so you do the first thing every footballer ever learns while holding a lead. Keep the ball, knock it back to the keeper. You don't weight it properly. It's short. A striker you never saw gets there first and rolls it into the empty net. 2-1. And a game that was finished is suddenly alive again. The crowd that had gone quiet is roaring. The other team believes now, and they pour forward in numbers. 8 minutes later, the coach takes you off. Not for any tactical reason, but because he can't leave you out there a moment longer. You walk the whole length of the pitch on your own, the cameras following every step, and you will take that same walk in your head every night for weeks. You've barely sat down on the bench when, deep in stoppage time, they equalise. 2-2. A win becomes a draw. The country that needed 3 points is left with 1. By the next morning, you are the story, not the coach. You. The back pass runs on a loop on every channel. The phone-ins want you on the next flight home. The pundits who questioned your call-up have their proof now, and they use it. Drop him. Send him home. He should never pull on the shirt again. A man who waited his whole life to get here, and a whole country agreeing that he never should have come. There's a headline that morning aimed at the man who picked you, the one whose job is now on the line for it. Time to admit the coach got this one wrong, and the hardest part isn't that they printed it. It's that, alone in your room, you read it, and you can't argue. The small voice from the night your name was read out, the one that thought maybe they were right, isn't small anymore. It's the only thing you can hear. Your team scrapes through the group anyway. You wait for it to feel like a reprieve. It never does. All it means is you don't get to go home. You have to stay in a tournament that's already decided it doesn't want you. So you watch. The tournament you dreamed of your whole life is happening a few yards in front of you, close enough to hear them call for the ball, and you're not allowed to touch it. You warm up at half-time just to look busy. You've become a man whose whole job is to clap. The round of 16, the quarter-final, the semi-final, and the part that don't really need explaining is that you want them to win. Badly. These are your teammates. When the goals go in, you're up off the bench with all of them, roaring, celebrating, and you mean every second of it. But there's another voice underneath, and it won't go quiet. I want to be out there. Every celebration you watch is one you're standing just outside of, and after the mistake it gets louder, not softer. In between the doubts, the part of you that still believes you belong on that pitch refuses to die, even after everyone else has buried it. So you clap until your hands sting, and you pray nobody can see what it's costing you. And it gets worse. There's a knockout game the team has to win, and the coach empties his bench to win it, all 5 changes one after another, and not one of them is you. You sit there in a tracksuit you never even get to sweat through, watching teammates who've waited less than you run out into a World Cup. Not even the last roll of the dice is you. That's the lowest it goes, not the mistake. This, the night the one man whose opinion still counts looked down his entire bench and decided he'd rather trust anyone else. Then, in the semi-final, your team loses its best player, the passer, the creative engine, carried off with his knee gone, his tournament finished. You reach the final anyway, somehow, but you'll go into the biggest game of your life with no one left who can produce things out of nothing. When the others go in at night, you stay out. Same 5 steps, same strike, a stadium floodlight where the streetlight used to be. And for a moment you're a kid again, with bleeding feet and nobody watching. Except now a whole country is watching, and they've already decided who you are. The coach finds you out there one night. He doesn't give a speech. He stands at the edge of the pitch and watches you hit free kick after free kick into an empty net. And then he says the only thing you will carry with you for the rest of your life. I didn't pick the safe player. I picked the one who can do the thing no one else can. Don't prove them right. You don't sleep that night. You're not sad anymore. You're ready. And ready, after the world's already written you off, is a dangerous thing to be. The final, the World Cup final, and it's a war. From the bench you watch it. 2 sides so afraid of losing that neither one will risk anything to win. It's tight, the kind of ugly, foul-ridden final that gets settled by a single moment. And all night the free kicks come and go and the score stays level, because the man who could deliver them was carried off in the semi-final. You, of all people, know exactly what's being wasted. You've struck that ball 10,000 times, and you're sitting down. 86 minutes, still level, and heading for extra time. Every substitute is gone but one. The only man left who can still run, and the only one who can do the thing this final has been missing all night. The one the coach stopped trusting after the back pass. The one the whole country wants gone. You. The one man he brought to this tournament to do exactly this. He looks at you. He doesn't say anything, but he nods. You already know. Your number goes up on the board. Your legs don't feel like yours. For a few minutes you just run. Chasing, closing, dragging your body through a game that won't break. And then, deep into stoppage time, a teammate goes down. The whistle, a free kick, 25 yards out, just left of centre, exactly where you've stood 10,000 times. The whole stadium knows you're not the man for this. You're the back pass man, the mistake, the man who travelled just to be an extra man in training. And then your captain, the man you once heard say the coach had gambled a whole tournament on a hunch, on a kid who'd fold the first time it got heavy, picks the ball up. He walks past 3 players who want it, and he puts it into your hands. He doesn't say a word. You put the ball down. The wall lines up, 5 steps back, then 1.5 step to the left. The keeper points and screams. 90,000 people. And somehow, silence. And for a long split second, you're not here. There's rain, an orange flashing streetlight, a chalk square. You're not in a stadium anymore. You're on a wet pitch with bleeding feet and nobody watching, hitting the only thing you ever decided would be yours. The whistle goes. You move toward the ball with the calm of a man who has done this before. The strike. Over the wall, the bend, the drop, the keeper's fingertips, the net. For half a second, nothing. Then the loudest sound in the world. You don't celebrate, not at first. You just stand there with your arms out while the bench empties and a whole team comes running at you, and you can't hear any of it. For 1 second, all you can hear is a ball hitting a wall in the rain 20 years ago, and a boy who decided he would be standing exactly here, the last man picked, the one nobody wanted, the one who won it. Here's the thing nobody tells you. The 2 men on television will say they always knew. The country will sing your name. They'll forget the back pass, forget the rule break, forget that for 5 weeks you were the punchline. That's how it works. The world only ever remembers the last thing you did, but you'll remember the rest. You'll remember the longest walk, the breakfast where a good man left his coffee, the nights on the bench, learning how to clap. And you'll know something none of them ever will. The World Cup isn't won by the best players, it's won by the stubborn ones, the ones who kept hitting the wall when nobody was watching. You were that kid once, weren't you? On a pitch in stormy weather, deciding something about yourself that nobody else believed. This was always the dream. Now you know what it costs. If this one got you, there's a different life every week. One you'll never live and one you won't be able to look away from. Stick around.